Hi, I'm Rosie and I'm going to show you how incredibly easy it is to make nut milk. So when I first became interested in plant foods, I was really intimidated by everything, all the food preparation, just really terrified me. But what you realise once you start playing around with things is there's very rarely one right way to do things. And this, what I'm going to show you today, is a case in point. So I'm going to show you how to make coconut milk. And when I was first taught how to make coconut milk, we were using Thai coconuts, which you might have seen in the supermarkets. They're basically kind of white and shaved, and the flesh inside is really soft. And we were using that flesh, that soft flesh, which we combined with water to make coconut milk. And I thought that that was the only way to make coconut milk, but actually it's not. And here in Indonesia, it's a very traditional product. So I'm going to show you a quick way, and then I'm going to do a separate video showing you how traditionally coconut milk is made. So working on the basis that most people will want to know the fast way to do it, we'll start off with the coconut. So what we're using here is, I know they call it old coconut in Indonesia, but it's pretty much the one that I used to see all the time in the supermarkets in the UK. So it's the brown hairy thing, and what we've got here is the inner flesh. So I found that the easiest way actually to open the coconut was just to stick it in a bag and bash it on the floor and then just scoop out the insides. But what you might find after you do that is there's still a brown exterior, a bit like this. So again, some people will keep this on and roast it, but I don't want to roast it. So I've used a potato peeler to take all this off. So what I'm going to do now that I've taken the brown stuff off of almost half a coconut, is I'm going to finish chopping this one. I'm going to get about a cup full of chopped coconut flesh, and then I'm going to put it in a blender. So basically you're just chopping it really roughly, so it makes it easier to blend up. And depending on the power of your blender, you might need to chop it more or less finely. But you don't need a high power blender to make any of the nut milks. I've used one of these handheld things, and they work just as well. You just, as I say, you might need to chop things a bit more finely. So the proportions that I'm going to give you here are true for all nut milks. So generally what people say is you'll use a cup of your nut product. Here it's coconut, but it could equally be soaked almonds or whatever nut you're using. So you use a cup of that, and then I'm going to add to that 3 cups of water. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my blender just to combine the two. And then once we have that mixture, I'm going to strain it through a nut bag. So just because it's incredibly noisy, I'm going to switch off the video and then come back to you when we've got the blended. Okay, here we go. We've got the blended product. So this is just, remember, coconut flesh and water. And it's looking really lovely. So all we need to do now is strain it. You need a really fine material to strain it. I've got a nylon bag, but you don't need to use anything in particular. And I remember once I went to do a video with a friend who lived hundreds of miles away from me. I forgot to take my nut bag, and Louise, bless her, said, let's use a pop sock, which is tight. So you don't really need anything special. So I'm going to pop this nut bag inside my jug, pour in my mixture, and then all I have to do is squeeze it out, and then that's my nut milk. obviously I have incredibly clean hands. So I'm just squeezing this out, making my nut milk with love. Okay, that's it. It's really, really simple. I'm going to leave this to one side for a little bit because I'm going to show you something I think is really cool, but then I'm a bit sad at times. So I'm going to show you a bit later something really cool that happens. But for now, so this is the final thing that I wanted to show you about coconut milk. It's the same as cow's milk. The cream rises to the top. If you want to drink it as milk, you just need to shake the cream out, obviously. But if you want to use the cream for desserts, you wouldn't have it in this container, but you keep it in a wider container and you just scrape the cream off and use it as you normally would in desserts. I think it's cool.